MT Storm Team 3, weather coverage you can count on.
We have a severe thunderstorm watch in part of the area, so let's check in now with Storm Team 3 meteorologist Ryan Knapp. Ryan, what are you tracking?
Yeah, the Storm Prediction Center hinted at the fact that we could be seeing a watch extended closer to our area here really just a few minutes ago, and that's what we're seeing right now. So anywhere in this pink right here, especially between Owatonna down into Albert Lea, is where we are seeing kind of the fringes of that severe thunderstorm watch that is now in effect until 11 p.m. tonight, as they are starting to watch some storms further off towards our west. And that's really this entire complex right here that has been producing some fairly strong winds. There's been tornado warnings associated with it, as well as these severe thunderstorm warnings associated with it as well. The Storm Prediction Center put out a message earlier here to us via their chat service saying that the atmosphere is trying to regather some of the energy to produce some of those thunderstorms. And that's why further off towards the west here, even behind this complex, you're starting to see some of those showers and storms pop up. Whether or not they hold that energy and push further towards us is still going to be the question as we move throughout the rest of this evening. We'll have you up to date with that information as we move forward here into the newscast and then later on at 10 o'clock. The Marble Rock tornadoes, we were talking about them earlier today. The National Weather Service did a survey of them, and this is now what we know. We know that 2 tornadoes occurred, the ratings between an EF0 and an EF1. What that means is that EF0 tornado allowed for a max wind peak to be up to 75 miles per hour, and then that EF1 tornado allowing for a max wind peak of 105 miles per hour. And as Annalise mentioned earlier, the EF1 tornado being almost the size of a football field in width. So this is what we know so far. We are expecting a final report to come out here in just a few days, maybe even a week, as they start to collect some of that data. As I mentioned earlier, there's been a lot of flooding issues across North Iowa, making some of this damage surveying a little bit more on the trickier side compared to what the National Weather Service is used to. Sticking on the topic of the flooding, though, this is the Cedar River height, and we've been talking about this here, especially with all the flooding we have seen. And really, as we move throughout into tomorrow, especially if we see some more rainfall later on tonight, the National Weather Service and the Hydrological Association are showing that it will crest up into that moderate flood stage, being at 16.5 feet. That is fairly high, and that will help to aid in some of the flooding that we are seeing across portions of Charles City already, as well as North Iowa. And like I said, if we see some more of that rain, that'll be the scenario for tonight. The Upper Iowa River in Lime Springs has actually passed its record for its all-time crest at now into around almost 16.5 feet. Its record there just almost 16 feet at around 15. So some of the rain that we are seeing are allowing to see these rivers increase in their height and allowing them to crest at almost record heights here. And really, as I mentioned, we saw the radar image over the last 48 hours. This is in the last 24 hours now. We are bumping it back a day. This is the amount of rainfall we have seen across portions. Decorah is seeing really almost just over 5 inches of rainfall in the last 24 hours. Elma here, almost 13 inches. Now, this is estimated based on radar data, so this doesn't mean that this is how much they have actually seen, but this is what the radar is estimating to see. Either way, these numbers are impressive, and the flooding we are seeing right now is definitely backing up some of these numbers. Charles City at almost 7.5 inches. Leroy almost 10 inches. Mason City at almost 6 inches as well. So we are seeing widespread rainfall across the entire area here in just the last 24 hours. They've been saying even since this morning that some regions have maybe even seen an additional 4 to 6 inches in some locations. Closer to home here, Rochester at around 4 inches in the last 24 hours. That is very impressive and much needed rainfall. Spring Valley almost to 8 inches as well. And we're going to see how this rainfall holds together for the rest of tonight. Like I said, that severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for portions of Steele and Freeborn. And as we push into later tonight, you can see those showers and storms trying to develop and then pushing through our region. That will allow for some additional rainfall before maybe some clearing as we move into Sunday. Rain chances will stick around, though, as we move over the next 5 days. We still see them remaining, so the chances for some of that additional flooding will still remain as we push over the next few days. And then really over the next 3 as well. Notice temperatures only going to be more into the middle 70s as we move throughout the rest of the week. And then with the rest of the 7-day forecast, the weekend's always in view. Those rain chances will stick around as we move through the rest of the week.
Thank you, Ryan.